Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Trump says he favors privatization of ATC during meeting with airlines. Air Force X-37B staying in orbit. 12 current and former TSA and airport employees indicted for smuggling. Hello, I'm Laura Hudson. It's February 17th, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Some of aviation's industry's worst fears appear to have been confirmed after a recent White House meeting with the executives of many of the country's major airlines. President Donald Trump was reportedly extraordinarily positive about the concept of spinning off air traffic control to a private, nonprofit corporation. That was the assessment of A4A President and CEO Nick Calio, who attended the meeting. The corporation would likely have strong representation from the airlines, according to a report appearing on Fortune Online. Calio said that in his review, Trump is on track to do that, in reference to backing a bill that would separate ATC from the FAA. Legislation for a spinoff was introduced last year in the U.S. House Transportation Committee, but could not gain traction in the Senate, and was strongly opposed by business aviation interests, which are concerned that the corporation's board would be dominated by airline interests. The meeting was attended by President Calio and CEOs of Delta, United, and JetBlue, along with cargo companies and representatives of several airports. American Airlines CEO Doug Parker did not attend the meeting, a move which was denounced by Carriers Pilots Association. Already, the aviation industry's many associations opposed to such a step seem to be gearing up to fight any move toward privatizing ATC. We'll keep you updated. Well, there goes a perfectly interesting rumor. The word had gone out that X-37B mini-shuttle would be landing at Kennedy Space Center on Tuesday, but it turned out to be a false alarm. The USAF said that the sending out notices to clear the airspace were a component of an exercise for the program. Captain Annmarie Annicelli, an Air Force spokeswoman at the Pentagon, said, quote, "The X-37 is still on orbit. The program is conducting a regular scheduled exercise this week." The first report of a possible landing came after notices were posted for aviators to clear the area. The website said the landing might be as early as 07:48 Eastern Time. And mind you, Annicelli said that the public would not be notified of a landing until after it has occurred. The current mission is being flown by Orbital Test Vehicle 4. It launched from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station on May 20th, 2015. After the break, TSA staffers get busted.
Come experience the best of model aviation at the AMA Expo East in Secaucus, New Jersey. 100 booths, flying demos, make and take activities for kids, and many guest speakers including AMA Ambassador Hoot Gibson. Visit amaexpo.com to get your tickets, and we'll see you February 24th to 26th.
Explore no-limits flying in the FAA-certified Sea Ray Amphibious LSA, one of the top 3 best-selling LSAs in the U.S. Progressive Aerodyne Sea Ray comes equipped with a Rotax engine and exhibits extraordinary handling on land, water, and in the air. Check it out at www.searay.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you have a story suggestion for Airborne Unlimited, Aero-TV, the new AMA drone report, our website or podcast, just email to news-spy@aero-news.net. It's just one more reason not to trust the TSA. Last week, a federal grand jury in the District of Puerto Rico returned a superseding indictment against 12 defendants charged with conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute cocaine. During the course of the conspiracy, the defendants smuggled suitcases, each containing at least 8 to 15 kilograms of cocaine, through the TSA security system at the Luis Muñoz Marín International Airport. Sometimes as many as 5 mules were used on each flight. with each mule checking in up to 2 suitcases. From 1998 through 2016, the defendants helped smuggle approximately 20 tons of cocaine through LMMIA. 6 current and former TSA employees allegedly smuggled multi-kilogram quantities of cocaine while employed as TSA officers at the San Juan airport. Their full-time responsibilities were to provide security and baggage screening for checked and carry-on luggage that was to be placed on outbound flights. During the duration of the conspiracy, these TSA employees smuggled multi-kilogram quantities of cocaine through the TSA X-ray machines. Several defendants became facilitators between the drug trafficking organizations and the TSA employees who smuggled the cocaine into the airplanes. A defendant who worked for the airport security company was a source of supply of cocaine to the drug trafficking organization. It's Friday, and that means it's time for ANN's CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly barnstorming commentary. Just when Jim thought we had enough battles to fight, especially with the FAA's betrayal over the Santa Monica airport, comes the news that President Trump is looking positively at ATC privatization, news that we all could have done without. Here's this week's barnstorming.
Thanks, Laura, and hi, folks. You remember when you were a kid and you'd see the crime serials, where you'd see the 10 most wanted or public enemy number 1 featured as a huge danger to humanity as we know it. The prioritization allowed us to look at what was near and dear to us, what was important, and what created hazards to our lives, even if fictional, for the sake of television. I think it's time to put together our own 10 most wanted list and maybe start talking about public enemy number 1. There are a number of candidates for the job. The issues over Santa Monica are ponderous and will take probably the better part of a decade to figure out if it does. There's no question that the FAA's decision to throw Santa Monica under the bus was a betrayal of all aviation holds dear. It was done in secret and in defiance of the interests of the various stakeholders. And nobody's happy, not even the anti-Santa Monica folks who are frothing off at the mouth and threatening people and creating all kinds of problems and being really rude about it. And then, of course, there's Pilots' Bill of Rights. As the guy who wrote the book about Bob Hoover's fight with all this over 20 years ago, there's no question that while Senator Inhofe's efforts on Pilots' Bill of Rights 1 and 2 were extraordinary and heroic in so many ways, it's not job done. He knows it, we know it, everybody else knows it, and even the senators indicate there may be a PBOR 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever it's going to take for pilots to finally be recognized and respected as citizens of the United States with unique rights and privileges under the law, and to be protected from the kangaroo courts that are used all too often to create issues for airmen and aviation professionals all over. And then there's this. Apparently, the president has made a number of remarks that have been repeated in various areas to a point of near credibility that suggests he's going to be in favor of ATC privatization. Folks, ATC privatization does not work. We've seen it in other parts of the world where the airlines get preference and priority. We've seen sport, general, and business aviation get a very, very, very backseat. We've seen costs go up, services be minimized, services be restricted, and of course services getting more and more expensive. And the fact of the matter, as a result of those services and expenses getting more ponderous by the day, pilots will fly less, pilots will execute less approaches, ask for less services, and possibly endanger or harm themselves. ATC privatization is a recipe for disaster. We've already paid for ATC. It's been part of our income taxes, our fuel taxes, the sales taxes on our airplanes and our maintenance and our products and our accessories in so many ways. Why pay again for what we already own? We're going to take this phenomenal network that we built and are still building and give it over to another corporation for them to do as they will, and for the airlines to, in fact, control, because you know that's coming. It's not right. It doesn't work. It will destroy aviation. It will take a system that is the envy of the world and decimate it. For the record, we oppose ATC privatization. We expect everybody in aviation to get organized, get informed, get educated, get in league, work together, and fight this nonsense. I'm all in favor of lesser regulation. I'm all in favor of a lot of things that the White House is talking about and Some a lot, some not, and some not at all. But on this, we are so opposed, and so should you be. Let's fight this. Let's fight this together. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell. Raring for a fight, but then again, that's no surprise.
After these messages, Kansas City may get a new airport.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Based on the popular Sling 2 LSA, the Sling 4 was designed to be the most practical and desirable lightweight four-place experimental aircraft on the market. Find out more about this 115 horsepower turbocharged airplane at airplanefactory.com.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Officials in Kansas are reportedly looking into the possibility of building a new airport near Kansas City, Missouri, to compete with Kansas City International Airport. Kansas Governor Sam Brownback told the Kansas City Star that the state is looking at constructing a new airport on the Kansas side of the border between Kansas and Missouri. Drone operators can now purchase liability insurance of up to $2.5 million for individual flights through Verifly, an app that has been insuring drone pilots since its launch in August of last year. Verifly has also increased the coverage areas and time periods for insurance. CFM International achieved near-record orders in 2016, with the company booking a total of 2,677 engines, including 876 CFM56 engines and 1,801 LEAP engines. 2017 is already off to a good start, with more than 580 engines ordered received in January. Purdue Aviation LLC has hit a milestone in its growth with the FAA approval of Part 141 Flight School certification, which allows it to offer a more structured flight training syllabus for future professional pilots. Purdue Aviation offered flight training under the FAA Part 61 regulation before issue of the Part 141 certification. Pratt & Whitney has announced that it will invest approximately $386 million in its Columbus, Georgia facility to increase the production of parts and maintenance services and to reduce costs for new and existing engine programs. The investments will go toward the purchase of automated machinery and equipment upgrades and construction of 2 new buildings. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. HeliTrak has announced that it has received PMA certification to accompany the AML STC of the collective pull-down line of products from the FAA's Seattle Manufacturing Inspection District Office. On October 13, 2016, HeliTrak received the supplemental type certification SR025006SE from the FAA. The FAA's certification supports the company's vision for developing innovative safety products like the CPD, which senses low rotor RPM and automatically lowers the collective. The CPD's response allows the pilot to recognize the low RPM situation. Pilot recognition time in the event of low rotor RPM is a concern with all models of helicopters. Pilots will immediately understand the safety value of this new product as it makes its debut in the rotorcraft like the Robinson R-22, which is widely used for training. Chris Nels, president of HeliTrak, said, quote, "A primary design goal for the CPD was to improve the probability of a successful outcome in the event of a sudden loss of rotor RPM. The CPD is the company's first safety product to reach the market. The CPD is lightweight at 1.9 pounds, is easily installed, and is also adaptable to other rotorcraft. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Have a great weekend and see you Monday.